Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society here. Welcome to my review show here of the Go Home show of WWE Monday Night Raw from April 1st, 2024. Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. 13,545 people in attendance for the Go Home show for Monday Night Raw. This is the first Raw I have seen since the Monday Night Raw after last year's WrestleMania. You know the one. The one that was absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And we all know whose fault that is. And before that, remember, the only episodes of Raw I'd seen before that was Raw 25, the 1,000th episode of Raw. Like, I hadn't seen hardly any of them in the last few years. So anyway, and like that's going back like 10 plus years. Okay, let's crack on with it, hey? The show opens with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. We get highlights from last week. Still, though, I must say, Raw does not show that they have urgency when the show is beginning. Again, I'm going to talk about this quite a bit during this review, but they plod along very slowly on the main shows. But another thing that, you know, metrics are important. And I thought to myself how any AEW fan can look at this and see this sold out building and think AEW is anywhere near with their half empty buildings. Just get over it. Get over it and stop comparing yourselves. Because when you compare yourselves, guess what happens? The WWE fans get irritated by it when you keep going on about how much better your company is. So then they'll keep laying out the facts that your company isn't drawing any money or any fans to fill those buildings. Only on occasions where you have a debut or Sting's retirement are you getting those things. But you can't do that every week. You can't keep relying on that stuff every week. The fact that they have 13 sold out Raw and SmackDowns in a row, 13 in a row. And this is the highest grossing gate in Raw history. Stop comparing yourselves. All you're doing is you're just making it difficult for yourself. You got to stop comparing. I know the tribalism out there is a real problem, but you know, y'all don't do yourself any favors. And I know what the WWE fans could be like. I'm sure they could be quite annoying too, but this is what it is, mate. Anywho, so this is how you open a show, bro. The Rock's theme song hits. Okay. Like whoever was been tuning in for the beginning of this show, now they're sticking around to see what The Rock is going to do, what The Rock is going to say. The entrance takes a long time. But look, it is what it is. Pat McAfee, look, I remember the first year he was a commentator, I voted him my worst commentator of the year. Then he grew on me a bit, but now I can see how he annoys me sometimes with some of the stupid things he says. The Rock talks about last week that he shows videos of little girls crying after what The Rock did to Cody. Roman is here now. And I'm like, they're getting 30 minutes for this segment now because we've got another long entrance coming our way. Okay, yeah. So Seth interrupts at the 25.5-minute mark of this show. And I wrote, I love this. I don't know why. It's just refreshing for me. Because when I watch NXT every week and TNA, and it always starts off with like a match. You know, I miss the talking segments, okay? This is the beginning. There is going to be a middle. Then there will be an end. You thread a story through the show. That's how you retain people watching the show. You have a story threading through. You don't just keep throwing out 10 to 15-minute wrestling matches. Anyway, Seth shows up. He's in the crowd. I wish they would do that more. Reminds me of like Randy Savage being in the crowd when DDP was in the ring. Seth challenges to the Rock to a one-on-one match. The crowd pop. Not going to happen, bro. Then he challenges Reigns, but he knows that's not going to happen. So Solo Sikoa will be his opponent for the main event of the go-home show of Monday Night Raw. 34 minutes this went. And I've got to say, man, WWE plod along. I watch NXT every week. The weekly NXT product is quick and snappy. Boom, boom, boom. This thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. The main event might get over 10 minutes, but it's character, story, match here and there. But it's quick, it's snappy. They can get 30 to 40 people on the show, maybe even more. They get all those people on the show and they all have a story that's moving in some direction. But the main roster, geez, what a vast difference. Maybe they want it that way. We get the replay of Rhea Ripley being on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, which I loved that episode. Finally, we got to hear some juicy gossip about AEW, bro. Finally. It was interesting. And confirmed a lot of things that I had already kind of figured. I think it's smart for WWE to continually get themselves connected to people like Sam Roberts, Ariel, Rosenberg, you know, maybe that they should consider maybe Chris Van Vliet, you know, get them on their side. They want to keep whooping AEW's ass, which is going to happen forever, bro. So they show Becky attacking Rhea on the MMA Hour. Then Kathy Kelly was backstage with Becky to see what her plans for the night were, and it was clear that Becky wanted to whoop that ass of Rhea Ripley. And I have to say, Kathy Kelly, my God, right? Like I'm watching this and I'm just thinking to myself, dude, how am I supposed to like get on with my evening and be able to handle life after looking at gorgeousness personified? Anyway. First matchup, 8-man tag team matchup here after I don't know how long, 40 minutes. It's the way it is. And if people whinge about it, you know that this is WWE and this is what they do. DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and the New Day. Yes, it is. Kingston and Woods taking on the Judgment Day, Priest, Mysterio, Balor, JD McDonagh. I'll be honest with you. Whilst this was happening, I was making the thumbnail for this video. So I wasn't paying that much attention because to be perfectly honest, on a show like Raw, the matches, like, I know who's winning this. I know the Judgment Day are winning. It's a foregone conclusion. You want me to watch the whole match? You want me to give my time to watching that whole match? Then put a bit of mystery in the air as to who could possibly win that match, you little son of a bitch. One thing, please make some new WWE tag team titles for the love of God. They're so ugly. I've said it before, but man, please, somebody make new tag team titles. Get inspiration from the old WWF tag team titles that Demolition held. You know, so get inspiration from some other, great tag team titles from history. Mash it together, you son of a bitch. That's the second time I've said that. Judgment Day win in 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Again, not much to say because it was just an 8-man tag that went under 6 minutes. I kept laughing. I kept laughing at how slow they plod along on this show. They cut to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and they're just having a nice old, drawn out chin wag to the camera about what's been going on. Then we cross to a vignette with Sami Zayn training with Chad Gable at the Performance Center, and they're really trying to make a story out of this, and I appreciate the effort. It is E for effort. Thank you for trying, because Sami just won a gauntlet match, right? He gets a shot at the Intercontinental Champion. um, Gunther. And okay, that's all well and good. Obviously, Sami's not got a lot of confidence going into this that he could possibly actually beat Gunther in this matchup at WrestleMania. The story is that he has a lack of confidence that he can't do it, and he's worried, he's scared about letting down people that want him to win. And you know what, Sami, if you win, you will let me down. If you lose, you won't let me down, because I want Gunther to continue this reign, and I do not think Sami Zayn is the guy to take the belt off him. I'm sorry. It's nothing against Sami. It's just, I just don't think he's the guy to be the one to beat him. Anyway, because hasn't Sami already been Intercontinental Champion? Look, let me just have a look, okay? Let me have a look at this. Sami Zayn. Actually, I could just click on that. Here on good old cagematch.net. Titles. He's 39 years old. He's been Intercontinental Champion 3 times. Last time he won it, 2022. He only held it for 21 days. He's already won it 3 times. The person that beats Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship has to be somebody who has never won the Intercontinental Championship before. That's what makes it more meaningful. Okay, let's move forward. By the way, I did like all that stuff with Gable and I've already forgotten Sami Zayn. Jesus. I really liked how it was shot like it was a movie. Backstage, Dominik, Mysterio, and Legado del Fantasma enter the locker room of the Judgment Day. Obviously, Dominik is going to be teaming with Santos Escobar to take on Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee at WrestleMania. That will be interesting. That's our Lucha Libre match for WrestleMania. That's good. I dig it. I love how in this little locker room you got how many members of Legado? There's 4. Is there 4 members of the Judgment Day? 5 members of the Judgment Day. So you got 9 people in this tiny room, and there's only like 2 seats for people to sit in, and they're gonna go hang out. By the way, Elektra Lopez, damn, she has got herself into such good trim shape. I'm very impressed, because she was in NXT, she was, how would I describe her? She was a bigger girl. I wouldn't say overweight, but she was a bigger girl. A lot of cushion for the pushing. Still quite attractive, very attractive. But now she's shed a bit of weight. She's looking fantastic. Congratulations. Let's move forward. Sami Zayn takes on Bronson Reed here in the next matchup. I really think Bronson could have done more by now in his time in WWE. I guess that goes to show how competitive the field is in WWE at the moment. That's why it's hard for somebody like Bronson to find himself getting that push and going forward, because you've got all these people, just they got it is packed up the top at WWE. So, and that's what makes me think. I think of things like this all the time. Like I see a guy like Obafemi in NXT, and I think to myself, like, where's he going to fit into the whole thing when he goes up to the main roster? Where are you going to put him? You don't even know what to do with Omos, and he's like 7 foot something. What are you going to do with Sheamus when he comes back? What are you going to do with all these people? What's going to happen? What's going to become of Edris Enofi and Malik Blade from NXT? Where will they fit in? There's only so much television time. It's almost like you need to have a third show. And you know what? I'd do it. Who cares? Take over, mate. I would have a third show, and I would have all the women on that show. Then you can have your tag titles, you can have your 2 world titles, or whatever the hell. Maybe just 1 world title. I don't know. I'm just thought of it on the top of my head. So shut up if you didn't like that idea. Let's move forward. This was given a good amount of time, bro. Very good amount of time. Gunther came out again, and he dragged Chad Gable out with him, and he was laughing because Gunther is evil, bro. Sami charges to Chad to see if he's okay, forgets about the match. Gunter goes backstage, but then as Sami is not aware, Gunter comes out, charges out, lays Sami out. I love that Sami got to his feet. The referee was still watching on from the ring. Bronson was still standing in the ring. And no one was doing anything to help him. And then Gunter hits him in the head with a title belt. This all went 12 minutes. And the referee didn't ring the bell at all. They were just standing there staring. It's not a big deal. It's just, it is, to be honest with you, it is. If AEW did that, I'd pick on him about it. But, you know. Jey Uso was seen in the back and he runs into Lil Wayne, who was standing in a very unnatural position, like behind some casing, not with anyone, by himself. What are you doing there? Could we not have thought of a scenario that looks a little bit more realistic of Jay being able to run into Lil Wayne? Why is he just standing there, like backstage, not hanging out with anyone, behind a bunch of cases? And he's peeking through a gap in the cases to talk to Jey Uso. That, to me, look, it's just, that is so pro wrestling, isn't it? Like, no one would do that. Can't you find a couch somewhere, or can't you have him, like, I don't know, he's visiting the show and he's making himself a coffee or something like that. And then maybe Jay walks up to him. Let's move forward. Tag team match coming up next. Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell, who I saw perform at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Look, I even got a free hat. Got a free hat. And I got a pin, because this is really important on the Monday Night Raw review. Yes, I saw them lose to the Kabuki Warriors. But in this match, they're taking on Ivy, Nile, and Maxxine Dupri. Be Still My Beating Heart, Maxxine Dupri. Story with Indi and Candice is that Candice is being a bit of a bitch lately. So Indi wants to make sure that Candice stops her dastardly ways. It's the same old story. How many times do you have to be told this story in wrestling? We know Candice is turning on Indi at some point. So the match begins. You can see Maxxine is trying. You can see that she is trying to sell. She is doing her best. So I wanted to say to anyone out there, if you are somebody that goes to live shows or anything, and you see her perform, don't heckle her. She's trying, man. Don't send her mean tweets. Just stop picking on people. I know that sometimes there's green people in the business that can't wrestle the way that you hope for them to. And that, why are we wasting a spot for her when we could have a really good wrestling match? Shut up. Shut up. It's like, and I also disagree with people like sending hate toward Eddie Kingston. I know Eddie has some limitations at the moment with his wrestling, but I would never take the time of day to poke at him, to target him, to try and make him feel bad. So don't make Maxxine feel bad. Otherwise, I will find you and I will cut you. It's good to see they're making an effort with small stories like this, even though that they're not even going to be on the WrestleMania card, that they're not even going to be on the show. I like that there appears to be a bunch of other stories going on in WWE. What do you know? Beforehand, it was like nothing was happening. Now, when old Vinnie Mac's been told to hit the bricks, now we're finally getting little stories here and there. I like it. Although, you know what? If they didn't plod along so much, you might be able to have a whole bunch more stories going at the same time. You never know. Maybe Omos would be on television this week to hype the fact that he's going to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, because Omos should not be just on this roster just to have an entrance at the Rumble or a Battle Royal to be eliminated by a group of people or Bron Breakker or whatever. Boring. Come on, man. The dude's over 7 foot tall. What is he doing just sitting at home? How is this athlete, this giant? Oh, he's a special attraction. So he only gets wheeled out every time you do a fucking battle royal or a rumble. Do something with the big bastard. Maxxine and Ivy take advantage of Candice and Indi having dissension in the ranks between the two of them. Maxxine got a roll-up pin on Indi Hartwell. 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Good to see that the Divas era of pro wrestling is still hanging by a thread there. Just need a bit more Chelsea Green out there. Oh, you know what? I really hope they do bring back Total Divas. If you had Total Divas and you follow like Alexa Bliss, Maxxine Dupri, you follow, have I already forgotten her name? Chelsea Green. You know, you follow those kinds of ladies, Tiffany Stratton, you know, Natalia again. There's plenty of Nia Jax was on that show too, wasn't she? Follow those ladies. Did I say Liv Morgan? You know, they're good wrestlers, but also they got the diva type thing going on as well. So bring that show back because I'm telling you, man, like my friends and their wives, I know for a fact their wives really like Total Divas. And it's helped get some of their wives actually to like the wrestling because they want to see the actual wrestling as well. It is a great way to get people, especially the female audience, interested in wrestling. Like, if I don't know, if Tony Khan over there at AEW has like things like AEW All Access, which you know, no, that never got any traction. No one ever went on about how good that was or anything like that. Do a show about all the ladies in AEW. Like, get a reality show going there. You might get some more fans. You might get some female fans because it looks like those arenas are full of men who don't use deodorant. Okay, and the final note I had on that, Dexter Lumis, bring him back to television and put him with Indi Hartwell. You have this guy under contract and you're not even trying. You did one angle with him in The Miz. Come on, man. Why would he just stay at home? Get him involved. It's ridiculous. He should be involved and he should be doing something with her. I just don't understand how they don't know what to do with him. Anyway, I've got so much TV time. Okay. Jey Uso, Seth backstage together. Jey says he has Seth's back, whatever. Natalya then after the break talks about WrestleMania 10 and we get like a little snippet of talking about how great that match was at WrestleMania 10 between Bret Hart and Owen Hart. So I'm guessing they've been doing this over the last few weeks, and I like it. I like the fact that they don't keep, you know, it seemed like for a while there, WWE were trying to pretend that their history didn't matter and would never go do throwbacks to things like this. But then you have things like, what was that group of guys? They had like Del Rio and Rusev and Sheamus, like they were the world, like guys from different countries or whatever. Wade Barrett was in it, I think, too. And then so like trying to forget their past, but then you have Foley, Austin, and Shawn Michaels show up and beat them all up at WrestleMania. Like, you try to deny the history, but then when you want to pop a rating, you bring the old boys back. Drew McIntyre looking over a casket, and then he looks like he's delivering like a eulogy. And he's talking about Seth Rollins and WrestleMania. And you know Vince McMahon is not there anymore at that company because Drew McIntyre name dropped Jared Leto as the Joker. And Vince probably would have been like, I don't know who the fuck is Jared Leto? Like, look out your window, Vince. Like, I hope now that you're not doing anything and you're never going to be doing anything again. I hope that maybe you take the time to catch up on the last 50 years of entertainment that you have ignored. Singles match, Ricochet takes on Ivar. People actually think Ricochet wants to leave WWE and go to AEW. Why? So he can have 5-star matches. I guarantee he does not give a flying fuck about that. He probably would rather be with his wife in the WWE. That's probably why Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews, or Matthews, or formerly Buddy Murphy, that's probably why they want to come back to WWE. They're not happy with these stories that Tony is coming up for them, so they're not doing anything. But think about it. Their wives work for WWE. They would want to be with their wives more, wouldn't they? So it makes more sense than anything. Like if you could only see your wife like 1 day a week or 2 days a week because of all the travel, but then you join the same company and you could maybe spend, I don't know, 5 days a week together. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, actually, you probably end up spending 7 days a week. Maybe the heart grows fonder, but maybe 7 days a week would be too much, and you get sick of each other. Anyway, look, this is a great match. I think this might have been match of the show. Very impressed with Ivar. I've seen him before, but not. I don't know. In this matchup here, he really caught my eye with some of the stuff he was doing. Great dive to the outside by Ricochet. Don't know how he does it. Spin kick from Ivar was my pop of the match. And then, of course, that double underhook sit down powerbomb flush, brother. You know what? Ivar, in-ring performer of the show. I'm giving that to him. Ivar with a springboard himself. Fantastic, dude. Misses a moonsault. Here's a modern day Hugh Morris. 6:30 was hit from Ricochet. He wins in 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great cut from the main shot of Ricochet celebrating to the television screen of Legado del Fantasma and the Judgment Day hanging in the locker room. And Damian cracks the shits over Ricochet and says that why has no one handled him yet? Well, Dominik said he will have him handled and he's going to have Andrade handle him. He introduces Andrade to Santos Escobar. They shake hands. That's interesting because I used to make a lot of comparisons to them when I would review NXT and Dynamite back 2021. And Andrade says he will help take care of his business. And I believe Dominik said that there will be a spot for him in the group if he, okay, that's interesting. Be interesting to see Andrade and Santos kind of join forces, and then maybe Andrade starts to make them, follow him more than it will be just interesting. Becky calls Rhea out. She comes out to the ring. She's got the microphone. She's calling Rhea Ripley out. Here comes Adam Pearce. Now Adam brings out security for little Becky Lynch. Okay, now we've got a problem, okay? Gunther is allowed to beat the living fuck out of Sami Zayn. When he was having a match, he was actually allowed to beat the fuck out of Chad Gable to the point where Chad couldn't even move, drag him from the backstage area and just sling him onto the floor. Sami comes out of the ring, charges at him. He gets laid the fuck out. No security. But they need security for Becky, right? Adam Pearce has come out. He sent security to get in the way. Here comes Rhea Ripley. Rhea starts swatting grown men. And look, I know she's a freak athlete and all that, but she does a thrust kick to one of the security guards, and he goes flying, dude. He goes flying. Another one went flying. There's two security guards in the ring at one stage. Becky swats them away, and I'm like, come on. Okay, all right. But come on, man. They're acting like it was the Undertaker in the Big Show with swatting these little security guards away. There was one security guard that was huge. It's just funny, man. It's just the way wrestling is, isn't it? It was just get fucked. Okay. Damage Control backstage with Dakota Kai speaking for the bad Japanese girls. Because it's so funny. I don't know why it makes me laugh, but Dakota's cutting this promo about, Damage Control, and they're going to show everyone what they're capable of tonight in this random 6-person tag team match. But the look on Io Sky's face, Kairi Sane, Asuka, it's just making me laugh, dude. They're so evil and they're bad girls from Japan, and they're just I don't know, it just makes me laugh that they're so serious. It's what kind of human beings are they? So anyway, after that, Rhea and Becky are still being held back. And I'm like, come on, man. How many security guards were there? And they're still being unable to be held down. I'm sorry. Okay, look, I could kind of believe it with Rhea. I believe it more with Nia Jax, or I don't know, a Tamina, or a Raquel Rodriguez. But Becky's tiny, bro. Come on. This isn't about men and women and all that. if it was Rey Mysterio, you know, then I'd be like, come on, you can hold him back. Anyway, Adam Pearce screaming, "Get Becky out of here!" Gosh, she's such a menace. Six-man tag team, six-person tag team match, six-woman tag team match here. Shayna Baszler, Tegan Nox, and Zoey Stark, who I believe that they must all be on the chopping block or something, because they didn't get an entrance, and that's a big sign for me. So like I could tell a few things here, right? So the beginning, Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler were knocked off the ring apron. They were down for ages, but then they came back in and hit a triple German suplex on Damage Control. Obviously, Io Sky is not competing in the match. It's the other three ladies. Zoey hit a dive to the outside. We went to commercial break. Then Zoey was like screaming, "Come on!" and really, really, you could tell the concerted effort, right? And I can see why. She's probably trying the best she possibly can. But the thing is, Zoey, you're not a baby face. I just don't see her as a baby face. I don't think the people are behind her. When I seen her, I think she wrestled Rhea Ripley. Anytime I've seen her do something, it just the fans don't connect with her as a baby face. I think she's a heel. I think she's meant to be a heel. So I'm not sure. Yeah. But I could see the concerted effort. She's probably thinking to herself, shit, you know, I'm in this match. I need to make sure that I impress so that I'm not in this situation ever again. Because it would bother me if I were a wrestler on that roster and I was put in a random grouping of three people just to put over a team in 9 minutes, clean as well. I'd be starting to get worried about my spot. It's like a good example when I was reviewing NXT Level Up for about 4 weeks. Apollo Crews wrestled on it. No, I'm sorry, WWE Main Event. My bad. I did reviews for that for our Patreon. When I saw Apollo Crews wrestle on those WWE Main Event shows, he was winning the matches, but they were calling him a veteran. And if I was still trying to make it in pro wrestling like Apollo Crews clearly is trying to, I would have made sure I went up to the commentators afterward and said, "Do not call me a veteran." Because the moment you start saying that, it makes it sound like I'm old and I'm past it. Let's move forward, hey? The Kabuki Warriors laid out Tegan Nox. And my girl, Karise, got the pin. So I'll have to say also, the match did not have any heat. Tegan Nox is not over either. They need to do something with these ladies like Zoey and Tegan to make people care. I don't know what's happened with Shayna. I have a feeling that she's getting close to the end of her contract and maybe they feel like there's nothing much else for her to do there. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Let's move forward. We're getting close to the end here, everyone. Thank you for sticking with me. Kathy Kelly walks with Seth backstage. I can't remember what he said. Did you see the dress she was wearing? Are you serious, bro? Oh, God, like, just kill me, bro. Just kill me. Woo! Pedal to the metal. He's got a plan B here for the main event. Drew's just sitting there randomly on a crate. Couldn't he at least been on his phone or something? Why is he just sitting there? Just sitting there waiting for Seth Rollins. I loved this shot. This was, I don't usually talk about camera angles and stuff unless I say there's something that annoyed me. It happens quite a lot. I do get annoyed. Especially when they zoom the camera in and out when there's a brawl. Like, can we just, or like when you want to see a choke slam from like, I don't know, a good shot, like so you can see the whole thing instead of like, oh, whatever. Anyway, great shot following Seth all the way backstage through Gorilla, through the entranceway, all the way to the ring. I like it. I hope they do that more often. And we get to our main event here, the non-title match here, Bloodline Rules, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa. Seth dove onto Solo to start off with. Solo took control. Rollins launched a chair at Solo. Solo DDT'd on a chair by Seth Rollins. Then we got spot of the match, Samoan drop off the second rope through a fucking table. We all love the fact that the stairs, the steel stairs at ringside, are the big man kryptonite in pro wrestling. As Solo Sikoa charged at him when he was laying against the stairs. What did you think was going to happen, Solo? Very good. Seth powerbombed Solo through the table, which might have also been one of the spots of the match. Then Jimmy Uso super kicks Rollins. Okay, here comes the bloodline rules. Jay comes out. Jay and Jimmy start fighting each other on the entrance ramp. Jay goes backstage after taking control of the brawl with Jimmy, and he comes flying out as the final boss, The Rock. Then throws Jay's head into the side of the entranceway and throws him backstage. Pop. He's headed to the ring as Rollins is on the floor looking up to him. And we got a no contest here. It is a gentleman in 942, and it doesn't matter. I know that there's people out there. It's like, there was no clean finish. Who gives a shit? Who cares? If Solo lost, they'd be like, oh, he's burying. They're burying Solo Sikoa like he just beat John Cena at SummerSlam. Shut up. Not bad. As Rock is beginning to stalk Seth Rollins, Cody's theme song hit, Cody Rose, is coming out. Cody charges to the ring. Seeing The Rock sell for Cody with those punches and be in peril was so entertaining. Seeing him sell for Seth was so entertaining. He was so big and loud with his selling. It was so over-exaggerated that it got the crowd on their feet, dude. That was really good. Props to him. Rock still got it, man. My friend Daniel was talking to me today, and he's like someone who used to watch the Attitude Era. He doesn't really watch that much anymore, maybe just WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble every year. He keeps up to date on a little bit here and there. He's a very casual fan now, but he talked to me tonight about the fact that, dude, when you watch The Rock perform, it just makes you realize how above and beyond he is of anyone that's in wrestling today. And he's right. He said it makes Roman Reigns look like a normal person, which I'm like, oh, that's a hot take, my friend. Anyway, so Seth and Cody looked to try and put Rock through the announce table. Cody set him up for a rock bottom through the announce table. Oh, the fans really wanted it, but Roman Reigns showed up, attacked Cody, attacked Seth, and the fans chanted for CM Punk. That wasn't going to happen. Seth cops the Superman punch. Cody cops a spear. Rock takes his belt off and whips Cody and Seth. Then Roman gets a few licks in. The shots are sickening, dude. Some sweet licks onto Cody's back, but some of them when the good ones when you hear it and it goes like, oh, you're like, man, that's messed up. That's a leather belt. Like they're literally getting themselves tortured here for this angle, but it's a good angle. And again, I have to point this out. Why are the women considered so dangerous that Becky and Rhea weren't even allowed to touch each other or have a fight, but you're allowing Rock and Roman to beat the living shit out of these guys who are supposed to be main eventing night one. Oh, and one of them is main eventing night two as well. That is hilarious, dude. I love it. Um, but yeah, Becky, we need to get Becky out of here. Anywho, that comes to the end of the show as the Roman holds his belt up, The Rock holds his belt up, the leather one, and we go off the air. So you know what? It was an enjoyable episode of Monday Night Raw. To be honest with you, I'm not chuffed on the way that they plot along through the show, but for what I did see, the angles that did take place on the show in comparison to that last Raw that I saw, the one after WrestleMania last year, I was like, this is above and beyond better than it used to be. I just hope that as time wears on, they slowly but surely start to quicken the show, and really focus on that whole, I'm not saying go with Crash TV like NXT is at the moment, because it could be a bit overwhelming, and it might be overwhelming for like 2 hours and 20 minutes worth, which is it's a 3-hour show, but really with commercials, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. It might be a bit much to have the show or not plot along, but be quick and snappy for 2 hours. It might be too much, but I think the plodding along is too much as well. So they need to find a fine line between that and tell more stories. Anyway, before I keep rambling any longer, this didn't need 45 minutes, but for whatever reason, I had a lot to say on the Go Home show for Monday Night Raw from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Highest gate in Monday Night Raw history. So congratulations, WWE. 13 sold out shows in a row. This is the beginning of our WrestleMania week coverage. We will be, bro, I'm in for it. It's going to be a very, very, very difficult week for me. Not only, I'm reviewing Raw. I'm reviewing the Go Home show for NXT. I'm reviewing the debut of WWE Speed. I'm reviewing the Go Home show for SmackDown, which will also include the Hall of Fame, all within the same review. I will probably be reviewing Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. I will probably be reviewing Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2, and of course, Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. I think that's probably about it. I think there might be a few other shows. There's a tribute to Extreme 2 from Battleground Championship Wrestling. I covered the first one. The card looks pretty good this time, so I might cover that. And there is the Hitchcock Memorial show. That also has a very decent looking card. So depending on how inundated in shit I am this weekend, I will be hopefully covering about 10 to 12 shows for WrestleMania week. And we probably won't be uploading anything else other than reviews for this week. So again, thank you for joining me here on the Slam Society. This is, again, the review for the Go Home show for Monday Night Raw, California. Guess what? I'll see you down the road. Thank you.